speaker, but I am the mom of your speaker. And I'm from Oak Harbor, and I thought Coupeville was louder than Oak Harbor. No? Oh, come on. Well, we're just really happy to be here. Jahleel's going to be coming up soon, but I wanted to say as his mom, I remember him being in school just like you all are in school right now. And he was an honest young man, always had a lot of integrity, always respectful. I taught that at home and he performed that at school. So it is just an honor for me to introduce him to all of you, Mr. Jahleel Vester.
Stay engaged with me. I promise we're going to have a lot of fun. All right, so I'm going to talk to you. You're going to talk to me. Say, let freedom ring.
Let freedom ring.
Let freedom ring.
Let freedom ring.
Community. It's got to be the most important thing. You can't ignore us in a chorus. Voices louder when we sing. A fruit salad of people in the civil rights movement screaming to let freedom ring. All voices blended into one sound, the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King. He understood unity needs you and me, focused on one another. It's not about who can come out stronger at the end of the game of life, or who's more wise or clever. But when people who understand the power of two is greater than the multiple of one, our civil rights enduring fight, in some places, we've just begun. I'm proud to introduce myself to this crowd. My name is Jahleel Vester, and times have changed, yes, it's true. Looking back 10 to 15 years after many lessons, life, and tears, I used to be one of you. I walked the halls of North Whitby Middle School this morning, a place where I got to speak, and they're part of my story. And Coupeville High School, you guys are part of my story too, because I went to Oak Harbor High School. I have a lot of friends that came through this high school here, and it's awesome to be back on the island, awesome to be back with you guys here. So what is community? What does it mean? Who is Dr. King? What was his dream? What is the ideal community, and how do we build it? What is the ideal life, and how do we live it? If you look at the world and the word itself, community, first you'll see the root word commune. What does it mean to commune? The first definition you'll find in Google is a group of people living together, sharing possessions and responsibilities. This is a community lived out in one of its most intimate forms. To live with people and share space and resources is as close to community as you can get. The second definition you'll find is to share one's intimate thoughts or feelings with someone. And this gives us our first clue into how we can begin to build a better community together. Now, when you think of community, think commune with me. Are you kind enough to listen? Bold enough to speak the truth in love? People often don't slow down enough to really hear people. Think about the last times you heard the words, "How are you?" How long did you actually stop to listen for a genuine response? Or did you use it as a common greeting and just keep pushing on? People thrive when they are surrounded by other people that genuinely care about them. And would they play a significant role in the lives of other people around them? There is a community concept discovered by the speaker and author Dan Buettner called blue zones. These are regions of the world where it's common for people to live more than 100 years. And after studying census data, Dan and his team discovered that the regions of the world where this longevity was taking place were in places like Ikaria, Greece, Loma Linda, California, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Okinawa, Japan, and Sardinia, Italy. What was most important about Dan's discovery was not the locations of the people, but their habits and lifestyles. He was able to discover that 20% of human beings' life expectancy has to do with genetics and 80% has to do with lifestyle and diet choices. The blue zone lifestyle includes not only individuals' habits, but their systems that the individual interacts with daily. Here are some of the habits and the principles that allow these people to live longer lives, averaging 100 years. They downshift stress daily with rituals like prayer, napping, and happy hours. They have a sense of purpose. A study in Canada that followed 6,000 people around for 14 years discovered that the people who could articulate their sense of purpose had a 15% lower chance of dying. And a study from the National Institute of Aging discovered that people that could articulate their sense of purpose lived an average of 7 years longer. They ate plant-based diets with lots of variation of protein-rich beans and carbohydrates, and they would often eat until they were 80% full and then stop. Something that stood out to me as I researched these blue zones was the impact the environment has on us as individuals. By making active options easy and safe, the activity level of the population can be increased by 30%, which leads to increased longevity. I thought to myself, wow, this is really powerful stuff. At this point, you may be thinking, wow, blue zones are really cool. I should check that documentary out on Netflix. Or maybe these longevity tips are cool, but what does that have to do with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Well, I want you to time travel with me. Imagine a world less connected with technology. You can't call your parents on your cell phone in your pocket. Nope, instead you have to go to the store or use a phone booth and press buttons and then wait and hope that they pick up the call on the other end. Imagine a world where your brother or sister moved out to go to a different college than you, and after graduating high school, your best way to reach them was by a written letter that you would have to wait weeks or months to receive. Now imagine trying to send that letter and not being able to because the post office won't sell you stamps because you're not the right color. Gone over there to the corner store, they'll tell you, you'll find your stamps one way or another. Imagine a life where nothing is civil or right, and they deny you job opportunities no matter your education. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, and still be called boy, no matter your age or designations. A world where you're denied access to movie theaters and theme parks, and where you're afraid to go out at night. Imagine a world where only one color is safe if you're born into it. Everything was all right if you were all white, and if you were not, you were wrong. Society had laid its stigma of enough on generations of brilliant people, stigmas that still persist today. Society said that if you weren't white enough or just right enough, if you weren't smart enough, strong enough, skinny enough, fat enough, tough enough, buff enough, good enough, or worthy enough to be accepted and given the same opportunities as the ones with power that offer the gift of equal opportunity. These residual messages of this ancient world are still being echoed today. These old messages, while they exist, they are fragile, only being kept alive by the respirator of belief by two types of people. One, the people that are trying to change others with this way of thinking, and two, the people that are trying to change themselves because they've been convinced by this way of thinking. So what happens when you, the agent of change, decide to exit the matrix and discontinue believing in society's limitations for you? That, my friend, is when you begin to defy gravity and inspire others around you to do the same. All it takes is a sliver of belief and surrounding yourself with the right people, and you can break free of the lies of limitation. In a moment, I'm going to liberate you, and I want you to prepare to fly. I'm going to give you a ritual that will change the rest of your life if you let it. Are you ready? I don't believe you. Are you ready? All right, I think I kind of believe you. Okay, so real quick, if you have it in your pocket, I want you to take out your cell phone. Yeah, hey, this is probably the one time I'm about to be the best speaker. All right, the one time you actually get to take out your cell phone. Take out your cell phone. All right, put it on camera mode. I want you to take your cell phone out, put it on camera mode. All right, you guys ready? All right. So if you don't have it, that's okay. You can close your eyes and do this with me. If you have it, I want you to look at your camera and look yourselves in the eye. And repeat after me. Are you guys ready? Repeat after me. I am strong enough. Wise enough. Wonderful enough. Smart enough. Tough enough. Good looking enough. Friendly enough. Kind enough. Big enough. I don't need to be anybody else. I need to become the best version of myself. I am enough. Now give yourselves a round of applause. Alright, now you can put your phones away. Hey, in real talk, I want you guys to know that a lot of you guys, you come to school every day, both students and staff, and you are living crazy storylines. Alright, you guys come to school every day living crazy storylines. Some of you wouldn't even know the half of what it took to just survive a day in your life or a week in your life. Some of you live very, very hard lives, and I want you to know that you matter, and that you're worth it, and that someone in this earth needs you to keep showing up. So if you showed up today, give yourself a round of applause. So proud of you guys. Now, if you talk to yourself this way every day, I guarantee that your life will be different. Oftentimes in life, you have to be your first cheerleader. And for a while, you may be your only cheerleader. But eventually, everyone else will catch up. Now, American society was the farthest thing from blue zones 60 years ago. It was made up of black and white zones and scarce opportunities for people of other races. This is the world that Dr. King navigated, the space and time where he dreamed so vividly of different places. Longevity was an afterthought behind desiring equality and mutual respect. I hope we all recognize that we are currently living in the dreams of our ancestors, and that we should not take any moment or any day that the good Lord has given us for granted. Too many people sacrificed so that you can live the life you are living now. You get to, you don't have to. Repeat after me, I get to. I get to. I get to. Yeah, I like that. You get to attend school with people that look different than you. You get to study any subject with amazing teachers and tutor yourself on YouTube University and master any subject or language. You get to participate in sports and not be cheated or booed because of the color of your skin or your origin or upbringing. Teachers get to teach students, and students get to learn. This is the life we're living together, and this life is a privilege. There are people behind you in history that dreamed to live the life that you get to live. They would have loved the opportunity to test and grow their minds in any subject instead of being told that they are a dumb race so they can't be taught to read. There are people that would have loved to play sports and work hard instead of spending their days working hard on a plantation or being resigned to manual labor because of the color of their skin. There are people that would have loved to exist in a world where people that didn't look like you can look you in the eye and give you the God-given dignity and respect that you deserve and treat you like a human being. This is the best time, the greatest time to be alive. People in our day and age actually care about you. The teachers here, the administrators here, they actually care about you. The worst thing anyone can do in life is live a life absent of gratitude. Gratitude is a gift. Gratitude is a superpower. With gratitude, you can see what's good about the worst of situations. You can be present, finding ways to appreciate the little things in life. Gratitude is an umbrella in the rain. It's ibuprofen to pain. It keeps the sane from going insane. It's the medicine to the brain. Gratitude is one of the most excellent virtues because having an attitude of gratitude elevates your aptitude. Now, the opposite of gratitude is entitlement. Entitlement is a parasitic, pessimistic poison. It's a red ketchup stain on your whitest wedding dress. It's crease marks in your brand new custom Air Force Ones. It's smellier than dog poo under your shoe. Entitlement makes you ugly. Entitled people don't have friends, only people that tolerate them at different levels. Entitlement says, I deserve everything, and I should do nothing. Gratitude says, I deserve nothing, and I have everything. When someone does something kind for you, don't let another minute pass before you tell them, thank you, and give them the gift of gratitude. Repeat after me. Give gratitude with gusto. Give gratitude with gusto. I like it. I want you to write down 5 things you're grateful for every morning and night. And text 3 different people every day telling them how grateful you are for them. Try it. See what happens to your mind. See how your world goes from black and white to color, like the world did in the show WandaVision. Who here has seen WandaVision? Any Marvel fans? Okay, we got a couple of good ones out here. See how your relationships improve when people around you know how much you appreciate them. Give them gratitude with gusto, because we are living the dream. We are living the dreams of our ancestors. We are living the dream that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke about. Now, many people know of or heard Dr. King's famous I Have a Dream speech. Here are a few lines from that speech. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day, on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slaveholders will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day in the state, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, with its vicious racist, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day, right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. Give a round of applause for the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, there's a few things that most people don't know about Dr. King's speech, so I'm going to give you guys a couple of fun facts. Not many people know that there were initially no women included in the program of the March on Washington. But at the urging of Anna Hedgeman, the only woman on the planning committee, the organizers added a tribute to Negro women fighters for freedom. Anna Arnold Hedgeman was born July 5th, 1899 in Marshalltown, Iowa, and grew up in MLK, Minnesota, where her family was the only black family in town. Because of her advocacy, building up to the famous march, Daisy Bates, an American civil rights activist and newspaper publisher, had the opportunity to speak on the marble steps and give a message of hope to all the women fighting for rights in the civil rights movement. She is famously quoted, declaring, "We will sit in and we will kneel in, and we will lie in if necessary, until every Negro in America can vote." Daisy's story was a tragic one, and unfortunately, not singular. She was born Daisy Vester in Hutting, Arkansas, November 11, 1914. Her mother was sexually assaulted and murdered by 3 white men, and her father abandoned her, so she was raised by family friends. She eventually met her husband, and they moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, where they built up and operated the Arkansas State Press paper. In 1957, a few years before the speech, she helped the Little Rock Nine to attend all-white Central High School. The day the Nine arrived at her home, they were met by a community of angry white people that didn't want to see the school integrated. The Nine would eventually enter the school, even through the entire community uproar and the intimidating presence of the National Guard. They continued on in their attendance because of Daisy Bates, and eventually succeeded in their integration effort. Imagine if Daisy gave up. She had every reason to. Can you imagine the shame of knowing what happened to her mother? Can you imagine how vulnerable she must have felt? Being in a single-parent household would have been hard enough, but add abandonment of your last remaining parent, and being a young black girl in the early 1900s. If you just looked at the bare facts on paper, Daisy was not set up for success. And you would not think that she would amount to much. And yet, she has found herself in the history books. There is a house that she lived in Little Rock, Arkansas, that has been memorialized. We get to go to school together as a diverse people because of her. Daisy Bates is an example of what can happen when you don't quit. You may not have an easy start, but don't quit. You may have a broken heart, but don't quit. Your stomach may feel weak and your knees fatigued, but don't quit. When all hope is lost, don't quit. When you're mad at your boss, don't quit. When you've lost all your friends, don't quit. When you feel that you're at your end, don't quit. When you've lost all hope, don't quit. When you're considering dope or a rope, don't quit. It's okay to fail, to try again, because if you keep going, eventually you will win. Yes, eventually. Haven't you heard? Eventually. Yes, that's the magic word. Eventually believes. Eventually hopes. Eventually keeps going, even when it's on its last ropes. Eventually you will succeed, and then look back and see it. Eventually always wins when you eventually believe. Always hope, always try. If you've got to cry, go ahead and cry. Never surrender, never say die. Someone behind you needs to see you fly. When you hit rock bottom's basement door, and it all feels hopeless, light a candle, get up, look up, and don't quit. We are living in the dream. So many people endured so much so that we can enjoy the liberties we experience today. You don't have to wait to live a dream life. You're living it right now. So what are you going to do with it? This is the question. Another fact that most people don't know about Dr. King's famous speech is that he was preceded by 9 other speakers that day. A. Philip Randolph, a labor leader and civil rights activist, spoke before Dr. King on that day. Philip started the nation's first major black labor union. Another speaker on that day was the young John Lewis, a future Georgia State congressman. He was a speaker on that day, and John co-founded the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. He was arrested 40 times. Somebody say 40 times. 40 times between 1960 and 1966. On March 7, 1965, after the speech, during the first march attempt from Selma to Montgomery for voting rights, he was beat by state troopers and deputized white men so badly that they fractured his skull. Freedom was still ringing in his skull as he persisted in nonviolent protest for the rights that he believed in. The most prominent white speaker on that day was Walter Reuther. He was the head of the powerful United Automobile Workers Labor Union. He was on the advisory boards for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, and the Congress of Racial Equality. Walter was a strong ally of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He showed up to marches and advocated for improved health care, affordable housing, environmental protections, and anti-poverty programs. Another prominent speaker that most don't know about was Joachim Prinz, the president of the American Jewish Congress. He spoke directly before Dr. King that day, and he stated, "A great people who had created a great civilization had become a nation of silent onlookers." He said this about his experience as a rabbi in Berlin during the horrors perpetrated by Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime. His message remains true. America must not become a nation of onlookers. America must not remain silent. We can learn from a few of these preliminary speakers. You never know how what you're doing will help you in the future. Every experience in your life, even the experiences you guys are collecting right now, will inform your next experience. If you're a jerk in middle school, the teachers will hear about you in high school. If you're a jerk in high school, then your future college professors and employers, they'll hear about you too. Every day you are writing your resume. Every day you are collecting references and cheerleaders. They will either cheer for you or cheer against you, so behave accordingly. If someone would have told me, hey Jahleel, your 8th grade English teacher, Miss Brockett, you're going to work with her one day, and she's going to invite you back to speak at your old middle school, I would have thought you're crazy. And yet, here we are, full circle. What if I had been a jerk to my most amazing, lovely 8th grade teacher? I literally wouldn't be standing before you here today. How have you been treating your teachers? Do you treat them like they could hire you one day? Do you treat them like they can talk to your future kids about you one day? Every day, you're growing followers or losing followers based on your attitude and behavior. Choose carefully who you call friend and how you behave, because you will either be creating lessons or you'll be used as an example for the lessons about what not to do and who not to be. Philip Randolph probably didn't know he'd be a part of history when he founded his labor union. John Lewis was young. He probably didn't know in the future he'd become a congressman, or that he would have to suffer so much to achieve the God-given rights that he should have been able to enjoy from birth. Walter Luther probably didn't know how many friends he would have to sacrifice and how many friends he would gain choosing to support people that didn't look like him. Walter chose to leave the comforts of the majority to befriend and stand for the minority. Why? Because it was popular? No. Because it was easy? No. Because he was guaranteed that no one would threaten his family? No. Because it was the right thing to do. The right thing to do is often the hard thing to do. Always do the right thing, because the right thing is always worth doing. He chose to advocate for the rights of people, black and white, and while this made him popular with the people he was fighting for, it made him hated by the people he was fighting against. To quote Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So if you ever come to a crossroads in your life where you can choose comfort or adversity, choose adversity. Adversity is the bridge to change. If you can endure the desert of adversity, you can enjoy the oasis of comfort. However, if you cannot endure adversity, you will be like the silent onlookers that Rabbi Yochanan Prince described, the people that can see the problem but not be the solution. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. So stand. And when it comes to protecting someone else, God is my witness. You must choose to stand and stand on business. Most people don't know that while Dr. King had spoken about his dream in speeches past, he was not actually planning on talking about the dream. During the program at Washington, he was actually advised against giving that speech. However, as he was orating, gospel singer Mahalia Jackson prompted him to tell people about the dream. When he was mid-speech, you could hear her yell, "Tell them about the dream, Martin." He then went into it and improvised the rest of this timeless speech. Sometimes our best moments and our defining moments in life require courage, being present, and a little improvisation. That speech rocked the nation. It resonated with the pain points of the minority Americans nationwide and with oppressed people across the world. Every person that was struggling against discrimination at that time in the world could relate to Dr. King's dream. His dream gave them a connection to a shared past of struggle and to a hope for a better future. That day would have been different had he not been ready in the moment to pivot. How many people wouldn't have been encouraged had he not talked about his dream? How many people needed to be inspired by his dream? What is your dream? Who needs to be inspired by your dream? Someone is waiting for you to share your dream with them. They need to be inspired by who you are and where you're going. Your dream will connect you to someone that could be a help, and And they need to know that they're not alone. Your dream will also connect with people that want to help you. Perhaps they're going strong somewhere, and along their path, they lost their steam until they met you and decided to provide aid to your journey because they've been inspired by your journey. Someone needs to hear your dream, so don't wait to tell it. Talk about it like you're on your way towards it. Take action every day and move people out the way for it. You see, before the March on Washington, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had enough of the present, and he started talking about his dream. Then eventually his friend, mid-speech, reminded him of his dream. Then civil rights activists were motivated to continue protesting non-violently and persisted in suffering because of his dream. And because he talked about his dream, we get to walk about his dream. You see, when you talk about your dreams enough, they inspire your team to act valiantly. And eventually, everyone will clap for you once they start to call your dream a reality. There are many people that have given up on this young generation. However, there are many more who have hope for you. I am one of them. Your executive board is one of them. Their advisors are some of them. Mr. Purdue is one of them. Mr. Berry is one of them. Mrs. Krebin is one of them. Your middle school and high school ASD is some of them. Thank you to them, and I want to say thank you to them for their flexibility and hard work in times recent. Every amazing teacher, custodian, lunchroom chef, bus driver, principal, administrator in the school district is one of them. Think about it. They could get paid to do anything, and they choose to get paid to help you, all of you, become the best versions of yourself. So immediately after this assembly, I need you to find a teacher, a school staff, an administrator, and give them a high five and tell them, thank you for being here. You never know. You could be standing where I'm standing one day in the next 10 to 15 years to do the same thing for your next generation. The strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. Always protect each other and hold nothing back. The wolf is only in trouble when it tries to walk alone. Treat friends and family with love and care because it's the people inside that make a house a home. This community has had to endure some hard things recently. So let me tell you what happens when you survive hard things. You come back stronger. When your character gets tested, you can look around and see who's invested. There are so many people that have suffered long before and after the civil rights movement, before they saw the relief of change. If you suffer together and support each other, you will come out of these changing situations stronger and even more connected than you were before. Respect is reciprocal. Give it and get it, and you will go far. Community is contagious. Be mindful of who you are being. You will attract who you are. So keep dreaming, keep creating, and never give up. Don't believe anyone that tells you that you're not enough. Be excellent in everything and cultivate your gifts. If you're going to be a street sweeper, be called the greatest street sweeper to ever live. You are more powerful than you think, more wonderful than you can imagine. Future worlds exist inside your thoughts, so enter every day with gladness. Nothing of significance can be achieved without people of significance, so become one and attract the others. When you go home today, live in a grateful way and thank your teachers, your fathers, and your mothers. This life is a journey, so don't stop believing. Take action on your goals every day. You're creating reality when you're achieving. Treat people right every day and count to 10 slowly when you're stealing. And as Dr. King has taught us to do, never, ever, ever stop dreaming. Now I need everyone to stand up. Tap to your left and tell them, I see you. Now tap the person on your right, tell them, I see you. Now put your hands together and do it. You say, I see you. Alright, and if you put that U together, it makes a V. My name is Jahleel Vester. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Much love.
middle schoolers. Let's go back to the sixth grade.